Howdy. This video covers graphing square root functions. Okay, graphing. So, first thing, take our square root function, f of x equals a times the square root of b times x minus h plus k. After that, we need to find our starting point. Starting point, which is going to be hk, taken from our h and taken from our k. Remember to take the opposite sign of h. So, opposite sign of h. Same sign of k. Okay, I'll go ahead and write that down there. Same sign for k. Okay, then after that, we're going to plot our starting point. So plot hk on your graph. So then we're going to find the x values to the right if the equation is positive, and plug into your equation to find the y values associated with the x values. Okay? Okay. Let's get to it. So if we do that, moving on, let's go ahead and jump to an example. We have f of x equals the square root of x minus 2 plus 3. We first need to find the starting point, which is going to be opposite of h is going to be 2, and then same sign of k will be 3. So starting point is 2, 3. So let's graph that. 2, 3. Okay, so let's go ahead. And plug in. Well, now we're going to take the numbers to the right of our starting point. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we go ahead and plug in 3 to our equation, right there, we're going to go ahead and have 3 minus 2, which is going to be 1. The square root of 1 is 1, and then 1 plus 3 is 4. So we'll have 3, 4 as one of our points. So 3, 4. Now this is the part that gets confusing, okay, but don't worry about it, I'll explain it. If we plug in the 4, what happens? We're going to have 4 minus 2. But do we get when you square root 2, do you get a whole number? You don't. So we're going to go ahead and skip that because we don't like decimals in graphing. They don't really mix that well. So let's go ahead and plug in 5 now, since 4 didn't work. Plugging in 5. 5 minus 2 is 3. Does the square root of 3 give us a whole number? It doesn't. So skip 5 as well. Plug in 6. Plugging in 6, we have 6 minus 2. What is the square root of 4? It's a whole number, which is going to be 2. So that works out. So we're going to have 2 plus 3, which is 5. So our next point would be 6, 5. So 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we have 3 points. We can go ahead and call that a graph. So just go ahead and connect your dots. So there's your graph. Now the domain and the range. Remember from our last video, domain would have been x such that x is greater than or equal to h, or less than or equal to h. But since we have a positive number here in front of our x, it's going to be greater than. So since we have h here, just replace h with what h equals, which is 2. So our domain is x such that x is greater than or equal to 2. Because as you see, our x values are greater than 2. If you do our range from our notes would be y such that y is greater than or equal to k, or less than or equal to k. But since we have a positive number in front of our square root, it's going to be greater than. So we're just replace k with what k equals. So 3. So there's your range. And as you see here, our y values are all above 3. All these points are above 3. Okay, so moving on. Last example, given the equation of f of x equals 2 times the square root of x plus 1 minus 2. Let's go ahead and graph this guy. So first thing, we need to find our starting point. So remember, it's going to be hk. And when you take the h, take the opposite sign of what you're given. So that'll be negative 1, comma, negative 2. So there's hk. Let's go ahead and plot that. Negative 1, negative 2, right there. Now we're going to take the points to the right of our starting point. Okay? So that's going to be 0 is our first point to the right. So plug in 0. Plug in 0 right there. 0 plus 1 is 1. So the square root of 1 is 1. 1 times 2 is 2. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. So our second point would just be 0, 0. So let's go ahead and plot that. If you plug in 1, 1 plus 1 is 2. You can't take the square root of 2 and get a whole number, so skip it. Plug in 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. You can't get a whole number with that, so skip 3. Well, skip 2, and go ahead and plug 3 in. 3 plus 1 is 4. That'll work out. So the square root of 4 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 minus 2 is 2. So our next point would be 3, 2. So 3, 2. Now, I'm going to go ahead and skip to 8. Because I know that 9 gives you, the square root of 9 gives you a whole number. And 8 plus 1 is 9. So if we plug in 8, we'll get 8 plus 1, which is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. And then 6 minus 2 is 4. So our last point would be 8, 4. So 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our graph. Let's go ahead and connect our dots. And there's your square root function, graphed. Now let's find the domain and range. Remember from your notes, we're going to have x such that x is greater than or equal to h. And h is going to be -1. So just replace h with -1. Range will be y such that y is greater than or equal to k. And replace k with what k equals, which is -2. And there you have it. That's it. So thanks for watching. Remember, if you've missed anything, go ahead and rewind it, pause it, etc.